I welcome you to this opening ceremony of the maiden edition of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership, Ambassador Leadership Program. This is a great moment of joy and reflection to all the eminent and distinguished Nigerians who, a little over 1 year ago, inaugurated the Nigerian Prize for Leadership. We recognize the enormous and incalculable damage done to the Federal Republic of Nigeria over the years by poor leadership. We foresee the very fabric of our society and nationhood being deeply shaken and shattered if urgent actions are not taken for a fundamental intervention aimed at raising high-quality leaders on a sustainable basis. Well, we saw the ENDSARS program recently, and it's a forewarning to what could happen if you all and we all do not embrace leadership as the first issue in our country's history at this particular point in time. So that's why I'm so happy that the next generation are here. We recognize the enormous and incalculable damage done to the Federal Republic of Nigeria over the years by poor leadership. The recent ENDSARS youth protest and the aftermath has given credence to all the fears that led these eminent Nigerians to inaugurate the Nigerian Prize for Leadership on Thursday, July 18, 2019. Chinua Achebe, whose birthday happens to be today, once asserted that the trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. If leadership is the trouble with Nigeria, and if leadership indeed determines everything everywhere, then we see the urgent need to join efforts in raising the standard, re-engineering the process, rethinking the standard, and refocusing the direction of leadership in Nigeria. Today is also the birthday of our first president, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. So today is very special. The critical role the youth plays in nation building underscores the essence for initiating the Ambassador Leadership Program. To raise and groom a new generation of exceptional leaders from the 6 geopolitical zones. There is nowhere in Nigeria that you do not have competent people that can give competent leadership. It's the process of identifying them and training them and using them that has been the problem. The program is designed to be impactful and imparting, leading to a complete transformation of participants over a period of time. So if Professor Nibogu and his people are a bit harsh on you, understand that it is to refine gold so that gold can shine properly. In other words, this is not a 100-meter dash, but a long-distance race that will require sustainable energy, commitment, discipline, and creativity. The mission of the NPL is to institute and project a truly Nigerian leadership prize that will inspire Nigerians to lead a life larger than self, for community, for nation, and for humanity. It is envisaged to be the highest, most reliable, and prestigious single leadership prize in Nigeria, targeting Nigerians of all ages who have demonstrated character, credibility, competence, creativity, exemplary sacrifice with sustainable success. A leader is not worth calling the leader unless he is prepared to sacrifice, to make sacrifices on behalf of those he is leading. Activities of NPL take into consideration the peculiarity of every operating environment, especially the Nigerian environment. As many of you may be aware, the NPL on May 29, 2020, initiated the first National Leadership Dialogue Series. This helped to keep discussions alive on leadership matters while going through the challenging period of COVID-19 pandemic. NLDS holds on the last Friday of every month and is currently on the 7th edition, which we hold on Friday, 27 November 2020, on the theme, Rethinking Leadership, Integrity and Building a Reputation of Excellence. Ideas generated so far from the series have helped in reshaping and shaping programs and activities of NPL. May I use this opportunity, therefore, to sincerely appreciate the partners that have worked with us in driving NLDS to this point. Of particular note are the Committee of Vice-Chancellors of Nigerian Universities, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, International Federation of Female Lawyers, Historical Society of Nigeria, Nigerian Guild of Editors, Plummet Publishing, Trade Union Congress, the Albino Foundation, Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Center for Values in Leadership, Women Foundation Nigeria, National Youth Council of Nigeria, National Association of Nigerian Universities, WIMBIZ Nigeria, LEAP Africa, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, Nigerian Television Authority, Dia Communications PLC, which is responsible for both AIT and Ray Power, the Channels Television, AD4 TV Radio, News Agency of Nigeria, Arise News, Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, Cool FM, Armed Forces Radio, DG Converge, Women in Successful Career, Hot FM, etc. I've deliberately read this long list of partners. It underscores how the craving for top-level leadership is in Nigeria. This is why all these people have identified with this, because they recognize this as the number one challenge of Nigeria at this particular point in history. The main reason for our gathering today is to inaugurate the Maiden Ambassador Leadership Program, ALP. I congratulate all the participants that made it to this maiden edition. Indeed, many years from now, you will be part of Nigerian history. I congratulate all the participants that made it to this maiden edition. Nigerians, indeed, the global community, look on you to drive leadership change at every level of your engagement after this 1 month at NPL, the Ambassador Leadership Program. Please, pay attention to every detail and see yourselves individually and as a group as the future leaders that will transform this great nation. You must seek to understand the issues that propel or retard development across board in Nigeria. I wish, at this point, to acknowledge the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dare, for finding the time to honor our invitation as a guest of honor. May I, through the Honorable Minister, thank the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development for partnering with us by providing the venue for this training. We look forward to a sustainable partnership with the ministry. In the same vein, we are full of gratitude to the leadership of Nigeria Export Processing Council for giving us the beautiful venue for this historic inauguration.
I think I must just for the record say I'm really delighted. The very first day of delight for me in the last 4 weeks. And you know what I mean, since the ENDSARS process started, my life has been on the hook, basically because once the youth of this country are troubled, as the minister, I'm also troubled. But I'm delighted this morning because in spite of what has happened in the past 4 weeks, we have this opportunity this morning to groom and mentor some of our young leaders. And that's because when you look back, the ENDSARS protest, which was well articulated, well organized, the mobilization was perfect, won an early victory, but also suffered an unexpected defeat, was because we did not have leaders come up to speak with government. So we need leaders. in politics, in the economy, in our homes, in our businesses, in our organizations. Without leaders, we cannot move forward. Having said that, let me just thank Professor Suleiman Bogoro, and I dare say that you took the thunder out of my remarks. I thank you for doing my job this morning, because you handle a sector that is critical for leadership to emerge. Our youth today cannot be leaders without the right education, and that's why the role you play and the role you continue to play will be critical. When I was a young student leader, I finished from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. I also went to Ife. Those were in the heady days of student unionism, activism. We were firebrand youth leaders. As a youth then, I looked forward to one single individual, Professor Jerry Ghana, confident on the mic, confident on the pulpit, never at a loss for the right word at the right moment. At very great moments of this country's development, you are one of the leaders that emerged. And I'm glad that till today, you're a leader, but also you're playing a role in helping us to groom other leaders. We thank you for your work. I did not say much about Professor Anya. All you need to do is just Google his name, and the facts will just cascade down. And I want to thank you because you personally came out this morning to receive me, and I was wondering why I deserved such an honor. But I thank you sincerely. And I hope that our young leaders today will also take time to read your story. Read Professor Jerry Ghana's story. Read Professor Bagoro's story. It's very important. Beyond the books you read, part of mentorship is reading the stories of the leaders we've had. They've had challenges. They've gone through several epochs. How did they handle the challenges that came before them? That is part of leadership. And if I've left out your name this morning, the wonderful people who have put this together, I want to thank you for your good work. Because to a large extent, you made my load easier and less heavy by putting these young ones together. Let me say, I came in late this morning. And it's because of what my dear friend, who for 4 years or 5 years, we have lost contact, Alhaji Sirajo Mukhtar. He has told me that I have to account for those 4 years why I left him in the wilderness. He said something very profound, and that speaks to why I came a bit late this morning. You all know what happened in Benin on Friday. Do we all recall what happened in Benin? The football match, Super Eagles and Sierra Leone. Did you know what happened? We were leading by 4 in the first half. We had full command, 100% execution. The 4 goals were fit for the Guinness Book of Records. So we came back for the second half. And then we took our eyes off the ball. Our eyes were no longer at the tip of the spear. And we paid dearly for it. There is a lesson for leadership. As a leader, you must stay focused. But beyond that, Alhaji Sirajo talked about the midfield. Without the midfield, you suffer a collapse. We lost our midfield, and we paid dearly for it. But there are lessons learned. The midfield for this country are the youth. They're the bridge generation between the young ones coming up to become youth and the elders that are ahead of them. You are the bridge generation. You have to inspire those coming behind you, but also you have to learn from those ahead of you. And then putting that together, you have to build and contribute to a country that is better. Yes, indeed, recall, this country was born because of the works, the sacrifices of the youth. I can go down history lane, indeed memory lane. Nnamdi Azikiwe, General Gawan, at age 28, led this country through the most brutal civil war. So what are we talking about? The youth today are leaders today, not leaders tomorrow. We must support them. We must create opportunities for them. You need to read the story of General Yakubu Gowon, of Anthony Enahoro, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Bola Ige. They were all youth. Most of them fought for the independence of this country. They made sacrifices. They made sure they were thoroughly educated. They took risk on our behalf. These are the role models. Even though dead, they are Aminu Kanos of this world. Their sacrifices, their words speak out to us today, inspiring us as youth. So beyond what you're going to learn in the next 29 days, you must take time to read the stories of some of these individuals who gave birth to this country and all that we enjoy today. The dream you dream now was the reality some of us enjoyed some decades back. And that reality is still possible. But again, you have a role to play. But I'm sure you won't let me round up this without talking about government, because government remains the whipping boy. What has government done for our youth? What is government doing for our youth? Let me just say simply that what we're witnessing here today is the approach we have seen in other countries. It takes, I think it was Hillary Clinton that says it takes a village to bring up a child. It also takes a village. It takes a collective to help nurture our youth, to build them up. So, beyond what government can do, private partnership is critical. And I thank you this morning, Nigerian Prize for Leadership, for what you are about. I'm really delighted about the cast behind this initiative. And I want to say clearly up front that when I looked at the community of partners here, and I didn't see Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, I said I was going to do my own SARS protest. But Professor Jerry Garnett came in and just whispered in my ears. Let me say that we're committed from this very moment beyond what we have done. That on an annual basis, we want to see you do this, and we'll give you the full government support for it. Because we need more private organizations and initiatives like this to be able to support and reach our youth. Without speaking to the fact that on our part, we know that our youth must be placed on the part of leadership. We have said it repeatedly. When we had the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, we kind of insist that if we don't train these youth to be leaders today, they can only be bad leaders tomorrow. So like I said, the leadership role starts today. On our part, the NYSC is the single largest concentration of Nigerian youth annually, 320,000 youth. And we take them through 1 year of training in various and diverse areas. That is a platoon for youth development. Supported by government, we spend almost 96 billion naira. The government spends 96 billion naira of my budget to take care of the NYSC. It's a worthy investment. We have the Nigerian Youth Parliament. It is a quasi-youth parliament, just exactly like what we have in the National Assembly. We keep them together for 2 years. They go from state to state. They sit in the parliament to see what has been done. That's another set of youth leaders being trained. We have the NYCN, which has offices all across the country. It's the umbrella body for all the entirety of Nigerian youth. We work with them as a vehicle to deliver the projects and initiatives of the government. And finally, we have the CLTC. That is the Center for Leadership and Training. And as I listen to Prof talk about waking up at 5:30, and I'm sure the NYSC people recognize that wake-up time when you're in the orientation camp. Under the CLTC, almost 5 decades old, Professor Jerry Garner, I'm sure you took a course there. The president also took a course there. Virtually all our key leaders went through CLTC. And I think there's a lot of complementarity between what you're doing here and what CLTC has. I'm going to put the CLTC at your disposal. They've developed an e-learning platform. So we can look at an online training and offline training. And I think the CLTC is prepared to partner with you in this respect. The lesson learned from ENDSARS for us is that we're about numbers. Whatever programs we have for our youth, whether it's training for leadership, whether it's entrepreneurship, empowerment, whatever it is, this country must start to be in a hurry to ratchet up the numbers. It's no longer enough to train 1,000 or 2,000, and you think your job is done. We need to bring most of our youth, almost 70 million and counting. Most of them are waiting for that opportunity to become entrepreneurs, that opportunity to get some level of training as leaders, that opportunity for internship and practical experience. The lesson learned is that we must double up, we must increase the number of our youth that are benefiting from these opportunities, but also we must onboard them in a very efficient and effectual way. And I think government on its part is taking note of that, and that's why there's a commitment, and the fund to match that has been provided. It's 25 billion naira per year. The application portal opened about 3 weeks ago. We have over 2.5 million youth that have applied. And it speaks to the fact that our youth are waiting for opportunities to be created by government and beyond. When we see private organizations doing this to support us, we surely welcome such. Finally, there are 25 youth-focused programs established under this government in the last 5.5 years. 25 youth-focused programs. It is clear that most of our youth do not know about these programs. So a new template to create the awareness, to make our youth know about these programs, help them to apply, and see how we can onboard them is already afoot. At the ministry, we're setting up a help center. The contact information will be sent around, and you can simply call, if you're a Nigerian youth, to find out about certain programs, about programs you have applied for, and about the fact that you've not been picked, or how to apply for such programs. So once again, this afternoon, I want to thank you sincerely for this opportunity. The very words of our anthem says, help our youth the truth to know. So what's the truth I want you to take away this morning and hold very dearly as you go through the 29 days of training? First, you represent the entire youth population because you come from diverse backgrounds, different families. Take this away, that your role as a leader begins now. And leadership requires discipline, requires focus, requires sacrifice. Some leaders are born, some leaders are made. Some leaders are also trained. What kind of a leader do you want to be? Your journey to leadership has already started, and I wish you the best as you go through your 29 days of training. Thank you very much.
I'm delighted to agree with the Honorable Minister's comment to say that the right thing for us to really adopt is that the youth are not the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders now. They should begin to learn to lead now. Otherwise, they'll be very bad leaders tomorrow. So one of the things we intend to do through the Nigerian Prize for Leadership is for the youth of the country to take the responsibility of being leaders. Some of us, we went into leadership during our youth. I was already in the Senate, my early 30s. So there is no reason why the youth cannot take up responsibility in very, very high places. And one of the things that we've seen already is that the youth of Nigeria are very talented, very committed, very dedicated. All they need is to be given the opportunity to excel. And so this platform, we intend to give them the challenge to excel. And they will rise to the occasion. The youth have done it before. As I've said, we have so many youth that we can celebrate. If they've been neglected, we now want to bring them to the fore. The youth can lead now. And leadership is not just political. It's not just at the top. Leadership is at various levels. Wherever you are given the responsibility to influence others, you are a leader. Wherever you are given the responsibility of making a way for others to follow, you are already a leader. And so we do want to, through this program, to really teach our youth to take responsibility for leadership with integrity, leadership with excellence, leadership with commitment, leadership with a vision, leadership with a determination never to give up but to really transform, because Nigeria belongs to you. If you don't build it now, tomorrow will be extremely disastrous, and we don't want it to be that way. By the grace of God, we shall help you to transform, to be good leaders, so that tomorrow's Nigeria will be much, much better.
All right, Prof. I would like to know in specific terms, what are the leadership gaps that you are trying to bridge with NPL? What existing leadership gap are you bridging?
Essentially, our own view is really not to look at gaps. We are looking at it holistically. Because if you look at it just as gaps, then you're missing the issue. Somehow, over the years in Nigeria, we believe that leaders just happen. No. Leaders are raised, they are groomed, they are taught, they are educated. So at every level, we must make sure that people are groomed and raised to take responsibility and be leaders. But if you are now saying that areas of emphasis, maybe that's what I suppose I would take by your question. The areas of emphasis include the following. In every nation, whether you like it or not, political leadership is extremely important, because those are the ones who shape the direction in which the entire nation will follow in terms of policies. We want to really raise political leaders with a vision. The unfortunate thing within the political era is that so many good people are being kept out of the leadership because the selection processes are very biased, are very, very organized towards those who have money. And that shouldn't be the case. It should be talents. It should be those who really have the ability, the capacity, and the vision to lead. So the leadership recruitment basis in Nigeria is very, very wrong. And one of the things we hope to be able to do is to throw up leaders because they have capacity, they have vision, they have talents, they have credibility, they have integrity, not simply because they have money. Thank you very much. All right.